Think K-drama and Hollywood are worlds apart? Think again. In this video, we'll be diving into the surprising similarities and differences between these two industries by comparing their top actors, like Lee Min-ho and Ryan Reynolds. So, stay tuned to see how East meets West in the most unexpected ways. Chris Pratt versus Park Seo-joon. Starting off with two of the biggest action stars, Chris Pratt and Korea's Park Seo-joon. While both famous for their action-packed roles, Chris Pratt and Park Seo-joon have very distinct acting styles. For example, Chris Pratt, famous for his performances in franchises like Guardians of the Galaxy and Jurassic World, effortlessly blends humor with high-energy action scenes, often making heavy scenes lighthearted and making his characters relatably charming and authentic, which is also helped by the fact that he does his own stunts. As for Park Seo-joon, he's built a reputation for being a very versatile actor who can effortlessly switch from intense dramas like Itaewon Class to action-packed movies like The Divine Fury, in which he plays a MMA fighter who ends up fighting demons. Like Chris Pratt, Park Seo-joon can also do his own stunts and has impressed both fans and critics with his performances in action roles like Midnight Runners. About acting in action roles, Park Seo-joon humbly said, "I never imagined that I would do this many action dramas films. I think it's a good thing that I'm not clumsy. I can't do it perfectly like the stunt actors, but since the action director choreographed the moves according to my abilities, I think it came out well." Comparing these two actors is a perfect example of how Hollywood actors and K-drama actors are both similar and different. While both Chris Pratt and Park Seo-joon are talented actors who are skilled and can do their own stunts, Pratt leans towards a more humorous style, whereas Park combines physical intensity with often more emotional roles, taking advantage of his wide emotional range. Charlize Theron versus Kim Ji-won. But lest all the action be left for the boys, actresses like Charlize Theron and Kim Ji-won have both shown that they can hold their own in the genre as well. Coming from her childhood in South Africa and making a name for herself in Hollywood, Charlize Theron is known for her iconic roles in explosive action movies like Mad Max, Fury Road, and The Old Guard. Able to show emotional depth even in the midst of the chaos of an action movie, Charlize Theron has become one of the director's go-to actresses for intense roles. About female action stars, Theron told USA Today that they are still disproportionate to our male counterparts out there. "We have to keep putting the pressure on our industry to change that, but I'm constantly inspired." Similarly, in Korea, Kim Ji-won has proven herself to be more than up to the challenge of an action role. Starring in intense dramas like Mr. Sunshine, Descendants of the Sun, and Arthdal Chronicles, Kim Ji-won has mastered the art of a complex action sequence and combat scene. Like Charlize Theron, Kim Ji-won is also famous for being able to blend vulnerability with strength in her characters. A good example of this would be her character Dr. Kang Mo-yeon in Descendants of the Sun. Keanu Reeves versus Lee Byung-hun. And talking about action, you can't possibly not mention icons like Keanu Reeves and Lee Byung-hun. Set on performing his own stunts, Keanu Reeves has become a legend in movies like The Matrix and John Wick. Likewise, Lee Byung-hun, often nicknamed the James Dean of Asia and known for his performances in action movies like I Saw the Devil and K-dramas like Squid Game, is talented at martial arts and uses his skills at stunts to command the screen, especially when he can blend them with emotional complexity. On top of his Korean projects, Lee Byung-hun has also worked on the huge Hollywood blockbuster big-budget G.I. Joe movie series. About the differences between Hollywood and Korea, Lee Byung-hun said, "Korean film sets are different from those in America. The crew in Korea is more ready for last-minute spontaneous changes from the director. In that way, the director has more power. In America, if the director wants to make any changes, he has to keep the needs of the studio and the needs of the sponsors in mind." Overall, action stars both in Hollywood and K-dramas have to go through extensive training for their roles, with Hollywood actors often benefiting from a higher budget. Also, while Hollywood action stars often stick to just playing in action-type movies, K-drama actors usually switch between intense action dramas and lighter romantic comedies. For example, although Lee Byung-hun is one of Korea's most famous action stars, One of his most recent roles was in the slice of life series Our Blues. Another difference is that the action and stunt work in Hollywood films tends to be more dramatic and explosive, while K-drama action often emphasizes more martial arts and hand-to-hand combat. But in the end, despite their differences, both industries have created great movies and shows. Denzel Washington versus Song Kang-ho. Moving from action stars, we turn to two genre-defining icons, Denzel Washington and Song Kang-ho. The perfect example of a dramatic actor, Denzel Washington is known around the world for his commanding screen presence and his incredible power to delve really deep into morally intricate characters. Like Song Kang-ho, Denzel Washington's performances are often layered, revealing different facets of his character's personalities as you keep watching. Song Kang-ho, meanwhile, shines with his versatility and emotional depth, particularly in movies like Memories of Murder and Parasite. Making his character seem real, Song Kang-ho's subtlety makes him uniquely able to really capture the everyday humanity of his roles. About his approach to acting, Song Kang-ho has explained, "I go back to thinking about acting in the theater, being able to persuade the audience, even if it's just one person you're telling a story to. I define this as the tipping point between good and bad acting." Ryan Reynolds versus Lee Min-ho. On to something lighter, comedy and romance are massive genres in both Hollywood and K-dramas, with each industry and its stars putting its own spin on them. For example, Ryan Reynolds and Lee Min-ho are two top actors who both play mostly comedy romance roles, but they come at it quite differently. On one hand, you have Ryan Reynolds, who is well known for his quick wit and sarcastic humor, for example in roles like Deadpool, Red Notice, and The Atom Project. Known for his witty improv skills and lightning-fast comedic timing, Ryan Reynolds has become an industry favorite for comedy movies. On the other hand, Lee Min-ho has gained massive popularity in romantic comedies such as Boys Over Flowers and The King Eternal Monarch, in which he often plays very charming and confident characters like the Korean Emperor Lee Gon. About his acting style, Lee Min-ho told Harper's Bazaar Singapore that instead of approaching acting in the form of technique, I try to understand the role. So when I choose a role, from day one till filming ends, I try to see and feel things from that character's perspective by getting into that character and bringing out the true identity of the character. So, while Reynolds connects with the audience by breaking the fourth wall and making them relate to his character by infusing some of his unique delivery style into the script, Lee Min-ho is known for connecting with fans through his sincerity and heartfelt approach to the characters, making them complex and compelling. Sandra Bullock versus Park Min-young. Next up, we have the two rom-coms queens of Hollywood and Korea, Sandra Bullock and Park Min-young. Starting us off, Sandra Bullock, with her perfect comedic timing and classic expressive face, is a master at playing super relatable and lovable characters in films like Miss Congeniality and The Proposal. Similarly, Park Min-young is also known for playing relatable characters. Specifically, she tends to play characters who are career-driven, independent yet warm, and who have a romantic and vulnerable side. Throughout her career, Park Min-young has starred in some of the most well-known rom-com series, including What's Wrong with Secretary Kim and Her Private Life. About choosing her roles, Park Min-young has said, "I chose, then and now, based on my intuition. It's also important to me that the script be a fun read, so that I can be happy shooting it, whether it works or not." In general, American romantic comedy acting often involves a blend of sharp wit, situational humor, and charismatic chemistry between the leads, while the romance in these movies is most often shown through playful banter, heartfelt moments, and on-screen chemistry that builds throughout the story. In contrast, in Korean dramas, comedy often means adding humor through quirky side characters, exaggerated reactions, and humorous misunderstandings, while romance in K-dramas tends to focus more on subtle gestures of emotional vulnerability as leads take you with them on the emotional roller coaster that's called a K-drama plot. The downside of American romantic comedy acting is that it can sometimes rely too much on sharp wit and situational humor, making you feel like the characters don't have a real connection beneath the jokes, while in Korean dramas, the humor can feel over the top with quirky side characters and exaggerated reactions, which can make the whole movie feel cheesy and inauthentic. Which style you prefer will literally just come down to your taste and your own sense of humor. Hye-kyo versus Julia Roberts. Two actresses who have gone from rom-coms to more serious dramatic roles include icons of their industries, Hye-kyo and Julia Roberts. Hye-kyo first caught the attention of fans with her roles in popular Korean dramas like Autumn in My Heart and That Winter the Wind Blows, in which she often played characters who were innocent, kind-hearted, and faced various emotional challenges. Like, for example, in Full House, where she played a spirited, aspiring writer named Han Ji-eun who finds herself in a series of comedic situations when her friends, behind her back, sell her house to a famous actor. Julia Roberts, on the other hand, made a splash in Hollywood with her charm and comedic timing in romantic comedies like Pretty Woman and My Best Friend's Wedding. Unlike Hye-kyo's characters, however, Julia Roberts became known for playing vivacious, charming, and often witty characters in these movies, rather than innocent ones. Interestingly, both actresses transitioned from rom-coms to more serious roles seamlessly. For example, last year, Hye-kyo showed off her incredible dramatic range in The Glory, which was praised for its intense and brutal depictions of school bullying. For her role as Moon Dong-eun, Hye-kyo won Best Actress at the Baksang Arts Awards as well as the Grand Prize, or Daesung, at the esteemed Blue Dragon Series Awards. Similarly, throughout her career, Julia Roberts has taken on a series of challenging roles, including that of Erin Brockovich, for which she won an Academy Award. Beyond their on-screen talent, both actresses have also had amazing careers off-screen. For one, Hye-kyo has become a fashion icon and brand ambassador for a variety of different luxury labels and is known as one of the highest-paid Korean actresses in the business, while Julia Roberts has ventured into production roles through her company Red Om Films. Although they both come from dramatically different backgrounds and industries, it's interesting to see how similar and different Hye-kyo and Julia Roberts' careers have been. Timothée Chalamet versus Song Kang. Right now, both Hollywood and the Korean entertainment world are home to some of the most exciting rising stars. First up, we have Gen Z heartthrobs Timothée Chalamet and Song Kang. Starting with Timothée Chalamet, although he'd been working since he was a teenager, his massive international career really blew up with his critically acclaimed role in Call Me By Your Name, which is considered one of the best movies of the 21st century. Playing 17-year-old Elio Perlman, who falls for the American graduate student Oliver, who comes to live with his family in northern Italy over the summer, the coming-of-age role earned Timothée Chalamet an Academy Award nomination at only 22 years old. Since then, Timothée Chalamet has starred in a wide range of movies, including Lady Bird, the historical adaptation Little Women, and the science fiction epic Dune, and through these projects, Timothée Chalamet has been able to develop his naturalistic acting style, cementing himself as one of the most talented young actors of his generation. Song Kang, by comparison, has mostly played in series roles. Like Timothée Chalamet, it took Song Kang several years as a rookie actor before he landed his first big breakout role. In Song Kang's case, the leading role in Netflix's series Love Alarm. Beating out 900 other auditionees, Love Alarm was a massive hit, and since then, Song Kang has played in several other Netflix series, even getting nominated for Best New Actor in Television at the 57th Baksang Arts Awards for his role in the fantastic and fantastically popular horror series Sweet Home. Most recently starring in My Demon, Song Kang proved exactly why he has become one of the top Korean it boys as the series went viral, in no small part due to Song Kang's visuals and charisma as he played the role of the narcissistic demon Gu-won. So, while Song Kang shines as one of the most talked about Asian stars thanks to his K-drama roles, Timothée Chalamet reigns as one of the biggest actors in the world with his unforgettable movie performances. Zendaya versus Han So-hee. Sitting together front row at every fashion show, Zendaya and Han So-hee have both gone beyond just being popular actresses and become cultural icons. Zendaya, for one, first caught the attention of the industry with her role on the Disney Channel's Shake It Up, and since then has moved into more mature roles like playing Rue Bennett in HBO's Euphoria, which earned her an Emmy Award, and Michelle M.J. Jones in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Spider-Man films. So-hee, however, started her career playing small roles and modeling. Fun fact, So-hee had actually gotten into a French university, but she didn't have enough money in her bank account for the visa, forcing her to work part-time in pubs to save up some money. Everything changed when So-hee starred in her breakout role in The World of the Married, which became one of the highest-rated Korean dramas of all time. Playing the role of Yo-da-kyung, the young pretty mistress of the main character's husband, her role in The World of the Married makes So-hee a household name across Korea. In her roles since, like the Netflix series My Name and Gyeong-sung Creature, So-hee has become known for delving into psychologically complex characters with subtlety and nuance, similar to Zendaya, who is famous for being able to play difficult characters naturally and authentically. In less than 5 years, So-hee has gone from a rookie actress to a global star, while at the same time, Zendaya is well on her way to becoming Hollywood royalty despite being only 27. Jenna Ortega versus Kim So-hyun. Shifting gears to two strong upcoming actresses who started as child stars, we have Jenna Ortega and Kim So-hyun. Jenna Ortega, who started as a child star playing the younger version of the main character in Jane the Virgin and eventually got her own Disney show, Stuck in the Middle, has in the last few years made a dramatic switch to more mature and intense characters, like her performances in The Fallout and the slasher films Scream and X. Similarly, Kim So-hyun has also moved away from the roles she played as a child. Specifically, Kim So-hyun was and still is famous as the goddess of historical dramas, known best for historical dramas, or sagus, like Moon Embracing the Sun, for which she became one of the youngest actresses ever nominated for a Baksung Award, and The Emperor, owner of the mask. However, as she has grown up, Kim So-hyun has transitioned to more rom-com roles like Radio Romance and, most recently, My Lovely Liar. Although that's not to say that Kim So-hyun has abandoned historical roles altogether. In fact, in 2021, she starred in River Where the Moon Rises, which was a massive success. Despite their similarities in starting young and exploring different genres, Jenna Ortega has solidified her status as a screen queen and expanded her reach globally through projects like the Netflix series Wednesday, while Kim So-hyun has taken over the Korean entertainment industry and built a firm Asian fan base. In fact, in 2018, Kim So-hyun was awarded the most grown Instagram account, earning 7.1 million followers in just the year alone. And at only 21 years old, Kim So-hyun became the youngest Korean actress to have over 10 million followers. In fact, Kim So-hyun was even chosen to be the voice of Google's AI Bixby celebrity voice assistant in Korea. Both Kim So-hyun and Jenna Ortega's rises to fame have been nothing short of impressive. And as these two actresses continue to make their mark in the entertainment industry, there's no doubt that their stars will only continue to shine brighter and brighter. Millie Bobby Brown versus Kim Yoo-jung. Another two actresses who started off as child stars but have grown into global successes include Millie Bobby Brown and Kim Yoo-jung. Millie Bobby Brown, born in Britain, initially became famous for her role as Eleven in the Netflix series Stranger Things. Similarly, Kim Yoo-jung gained recognition as a child for her roles in historical dramas and movies, earning her nicknames like Nation's Little Sister and Sagu Fairy. After her debut in 2003, at only 4 years old, Kim Yoo-jung became one of the most in-demand child actresses, playing in dramas like Moon Embracing the Sun and Secret Door, before taking on her first starring role at 17 years old as Hong Ra-on, Hong Sam-nam in Love in the Moonlight, acting opposite Park Bo-gum. As her first starring role, Love in the Moonlight was a massive success and even hit ratings in the 20%, earning Kim Yoo-jung the Most Popular Actress Television Award at the Baksung Awards. In addition, both actresses have taken on a variety of different projects beyond acting. For example, Millie Bobby Brown has not only acted, but she has also produced films like Enola Holmes and Damsel, and was featured as one of Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People in 2018. Millie Bobby Brown was also made a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. In fact, she was the youngest person ever appointed. On the other hand, Kim Yoo-jung has delved into hosting music shows like Inkigayo and has dived into philanthropy, most recently donating 100 million won to the Korea Pediatric Cancer Foundation. As for lists, Kim Yoo-jung was named 8th on the Forbes Korea Power Celebrity list in 2017, mirroring her success as an actress and star. But outside of their similarities and differences, it has been amazing for fans to see both Millie Bobby Brown and Kim Yoo-jung grow from young child stars with bright potential to amazing actresses. I wonder what projects they'll do next. Nicholas Galitzine vs. Byung-hun. Finally, the last pair of rising actors we have to discuss is Nicholas Galitzine and Byung-hun. Nicholas Galitzine, an English actor, began his career with minor roles, eventually moving into leading roles and specifically gaining wider recognition with romantic movies like Purple Hearts, Red, White, and Royal Blue, Bottoms, and most recently, starring alongside Anne Hathaway in The Idea of You. In contrast, Byung-hun began his career in modeling before transitioning to acting in 2016. His steady rise to fame came through roles in TV dramas including Flower Crew, Joseon Marriage Agency, and Record of Youth. However, his film debut as a lead in 20th Century Girl and his leading role in Lovely Runner cemented his popularity and has made Byung-hun debatedly the biggest breakout actor of 2024 in Korea. Known for their dramatic depth and emotional resonance, both Nicholas Galitzine and Byung-hun have become famous for their strong screen presence and for playing romantic leads. About playing a rookie actor in Record of Youth and his experience as a rising actor, Byung-hun said he, for years, felt like, "Really? I failed every time I tried. I thought, why can't I do this? Did I go down the wrong path? I had this sense of shame, but that was how much I was lacking. I was competing with actors who prepared more, so of course I failed. I believe that the longer you concentrate and do this work, good results will come." While both rookie actors in Hollywood and Korea face intense competition and pressure to stand out, in Hollywood, newcomers often have to navigate a big film industry with a variety of opportunities, whereas Korean rookies have to find their footing in K-drama productions and variety shows, where strong fan engagement and social media presence play a crucial role in their success. Not to mention conforming with strict industry standards. But what do you think? What is the biggest difference between K-drama and Hollywood actors and acting? Let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.